Thank you kindly, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McCord, our colleagues invoked the fact that the SPLC had an informant in a white nationalist group at the infamous Unite the Right rally in August of 2017 in Charlottesville as some kind of indictment of the SPLC. But didn't that SPLC informant create the information that allowed the SPLC to send 3 different FBI field offices a 45-page memorandum warning of planned violence and the potential for violence at this extremist confab?
That is the facts that have been represented in court.
Mr. Fair, is it true that the SPLC sent a memo based on that informant's work to 3 different FBI field offices?
Yes, it is.
Okay. The chairman.
All right, so Raskin, the scumbag that he is, he's trying to point the fact that these guys have been doing good investigative work and they've been working hand in hand with the FBI. But that entire narrative is about to blow up.
Spoke with some indignation about the fact that there were $3 million or $4 million spent giving to undercover informants to try to expose the work of the extremist groups, as in Charlottesville in 2017, where Heather Heyer was killed by a fanatic racist. I'm just curious how the members of the panel feel about this proposed $1.776 billion political slush fund set up for the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and other convicted criminals and rioters from January 6th. Do you think that that fund should be shut down and any other similar fund, Mr. Fair?
Yeah,
yes or no?
Yes, I do.
Dr. King, do you agree that that should be shut down?
Oh, now here's where it gets juicy. You might want to pop some popcorn. So he's talking to, I believe this is Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter. This should have been a layup, should have been a home game for Jamie Raskin. Yeah, we're going to talk to a civil rights leader. Let's see what she has to say. Oh, she's going to cook the Republicans, right? Not so fast.
I will not speak on whether that particular fund should be
or
shut
any
down.
such fund.
I think some of these slush funds that SPLC is using.
Okay, but my question is about the one proposed by Todd Blanche. It's a yes or no?
I will not answer on it.
Okay.
I think
Mr.
they
Banger,
need to stop killing the babies and cutting the penises off. And so any slush fund is
I have limited time. We can
money in that is the problem.
Mr. Banger, do you
I don't want to talk to you anymore. I know you're Dr. King's daughter, but no, go away. I don't want to hear what you have to say.
believe that the $1.776 billion political slush fund should be shut down and any similar fund?
I think that's a question for Congress to answer.
Okay, and Professor McCord, what do you think? Should that political slush fund be shut down?
Yes, it should.
And any similar slush fund?
Yes, it should.
Okay. So the conceit of the prosecution, this whole hearing, the whole attack on the SPLC is that there's some contradiction between fighting against extremist hate and racism for decades and then sending people undercover as informants to find out what these groups are doing. Do you agree that there's a contradiction, Professor McCord?
I agree that it is a very useful law enforcement tool to use informants and cooperators to learn more, not just.
So do you realize what they're saying? Finally, in 2026, they're saying that the SPLC was in essence a funnel that the Democrat Party used as a weapon. They would send these people out. They were funding them to get involved with certain groups so that they could then turn it over to Merrick Garland and the FBI to go ahead and prosecute. The entire organization is a scam that's an operation put in place by the Democrat Party.
About hate groups and potential domestic violent extremism, but also as a tool to dismantle drug trafficking groups and human trafficking groups.
So if the FBI sent someone undercover to expose a mafia organization, narco traffickers, international human traffickers, that wouldn't mean that the FBI is supporting those groups, would it?
That's correct.
Okay. As a matter of law, and as a matter of fact, can you have a criminal fraud if there are no victims of the fraud?
To have a criminal fraud, you have to have made statements and fraudulently to induce some activity. And if it did not induce some sort of activity, like a gift or donation, then there is no fraud.
Well, what I don't understand is that suddenly, out of the blue, there's a claim that the Southern Poverty Law Center is engaged in fraud because it's been extremely effective. I wish it had been even more effective, for example, in stopping the Oklahoma City bombing, where nearly 200 people were killed in an act of fanatical white nationalism. But it's been quite effective. I don't know of any group that's been more effective, other than potentially the FBI itself.
Sorry, thank you. Somebody mentioned that Alveda King is niece. Did you know that they had this entire organization set up to be a law enforcement operation to go in and be undercover? I didn't know that. I thought they were supposed to be, holding up righteousness to make sure people weren't being discriminated against. I didn't know they were arm of law enforcement under the Democratic auspices. And now we're finding out that this is what they were supposed to do all along. That's why we gave them millions and millions and millions of dollars. Why couldn't you just use the FBI? Why did you have to go and create this pseudo arm of law enforcement and then fake it?
In stopping extremist white violence. Well, do you believe that it is an act of fraud when the donors to the group understand perfectly well that people are being sent undercover to try to get information on what these groups are doing?
That's why they did it. That's why they did it. They knew that if Congress, which has the power of the purse, was actually funding certain organizations, then Congress would then have, de facto control. What they did, just like they did in California, they found a way. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to let private donors donate to this SPLC. Then we'll let them go ahead and pay for this informant, that informant, and everything else. So they are now admitting in open hearing, which people didn't realize, that they were a complete op. They were designed to suck people in and go investigate not just any crimes, the crimes they wanted people to go look at. They directed people to go here and go here and go here. In fact, putting on, the hoods as well.
If donors were not defrauded, and no donors have come forward, to my knowledge, suggesting that they were unaware of what the SPLC was doing, that program has been known for a long time, and so that creates a problem.
I mean, it just seems to me amazing to be alleging a fraud when there are no victims. When I just looked up the Trump University case, there were hundreds and hundreds of people coming forward screaming to high heaven about how they'd been ripped off and exploited by this fake university, and they won $25 million.
So do you pay the same people to do the bomb and then go and comfort the people from being bombed? You pay the same people to do both jobs? That's kind of fraud to me. That's weird and chaotic and confusing.
Well, Dr. King, I don't think there's any allegation that anybody who was working with the Southern Poverty Law Center bombed anyone. Do you have information to that effect?
Because I don't personally, but outside agitators did bomb our house in '63 and then ran back and took off the Ku Klux Klan sheets and put on police things and ran up in the yard.
Well, that's
the same people. It was crazy.
I'm with you, and that's a statement about the racism of that police force working with the Ku Klux Klan.
Hey, y'all pay both of them to do the double jobs. SPLC does. Really, you hire them to do the bombing, then you hire them to fix the bombing. That's weird.
Dr. King, you're asserting a lot of things under oath, and you haven't brought the evidence with you. So I think
I'll get some for you.
Okay, please, bring us the evidence, and I'll yield back to you, Mr. Chairman.
I'll get some for you.
Mr. Fair, did this?
He wasn't ready for that. You're paying the bombers, and then the bombers getting paid. Oh my gosh, she just blew it out there, man. Right now, all of the different curtains for the Democrat Party are just being torn down. And people are pissed. I mean, you blew up my house, and then the cops went and put their uniform on, and we're doing the exact same thing today. And Raskin was completely freaked out. He completely freaked out. Oh, that's where they're going again. You got any evidence? If you don't have any evidence, then I don't really care. So you don't want to do any investigation into that. You're challenging her, who's telling you, and you're like, oh, you got no evidence. And it's funny, Jim Jordan just sat there. He knew at that point he was completely trapped. All of these things are coming to the foreground. And I think I have to believe they're coming to the foreground for a reason. Because the more I see, because people are wondering what my angle is with California, I think everything that's going on with California, I think everything going on with the SPLC, I think Mark Warner, I showed you the video, what he's worried about, Trump stopping the elections in November in 2028, I think that's coming. Because as you guys were freaking out about California, you weren't thinking a little bit more forward, because it won't change. Nothing is going to change. These hearings, nothing is going to happen. President Trump, before he got on the airplane, one of the reporters asked him, so what are you going to do about all these judges? And he didn't really answer and kind of walked away. And I went, was that another signal? Are we going to see a complete insurrection act or some sort of, brazen Andrew Jacksonian type thing where the only way to get this done is to just tear it down? Because right now you're seeing what the rogue judges are doing. You're seeing what the state of California is doing. You see what the Democrats are doing. They're laughing in our face. It's almost like they're daring President Trump to do it. And at this point, I think that's what we need. Maximus got mad and he left. And I'm like, you haven't got to the punchline. The punchline is the only way it's going to get fixed is to rip the entire diseased temple down upon itself. That's what I think President Trump is going to be doing. That's what I think he's been telling us the entire time. Remember this?
When I get back into the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate the deep state. They will be obliterated.
And the problem is we're all seeing the deep state right now, but we're forgetting the obliteration. That's our only chance. And so I wanted to wait. Said it yesterday, wanted to see if people were going to get it. And I'm like, nope, it's not going to court. It's not doing this. It's not doing that. It's tearing the entire thing down and bringing the diseased temple down upon its head. Obliterate the frickin' deep state. There is no plan B. I'm convinced at this point there can't be a plan B. There are 100 senators and 400 people in Congress that we're trying to find a way to get the Save America Act done, and this person won't vote, and they're nominating Nazis. And all. The insanity can only stop one way. And maybe I put too much into what President Trump says, or maybe you don't put enough credence into what President Trump says. And I like sometimes when people get upset, and I'm thinking, go ahead, keep going. Show me where your frustration is taking you, because your frustration at this point should be taking you to the point that there's nothing we can do. Because once you get to the point of going, there's nothing we can do, then you realize there's only one thing we can do. And that's where I've pushed all in, because that's my hope. I got God, and I have the faith in Trump to tear it all down. Nothing else is going to work. I can tell you right now, was it June 9th? Nothing else is going to work. We don't have the courts. We don't have the votes. Every single day, hey, we're going to get the Save America Act done. John Thune, you better do something. Yeah, right. Nothing's happening. Everybody keeps complaining. Where are all the arrests? The grand juries are there. We're getting closer to obliteration. It's not time yet. I don't know when time is, but I got to believe time is coming. When he said this, it struck me.
When I get back into the Oval Office, I will totally obliterate the deep state. They will be obliterated.
So if you think I'm crazy, what did he mean when he said that? How is he going to effect it? What does he need to put in place to do that? Drone boats? Ooh, that'd be pretty cool. And so if you voted for Trump 2 or 3 times, and you voted and you listened on the entire campaign, and you have faith in President Trump where other people have jumped ship, You see all the trash. You see all the pain. You see all the emotion. You see people pissed off. You see people pissed off at me. You see people pissed off at Trump. And that frustration should get you to realize we're never going to fix this. It's not going to get fixed. Well, maybe it's not supposed to get fixed. Maybe it's supposed to be obliterated. Maybe it's supposed to be absolutely destroyed. Maybe we should destroy it for the good before the Democrats destroy it for the bad. Have you thought of that? We know what they're going to do. They've made no secret of it. Well, we're going to stack the Supreme Court. We're going to put 25 judges. We're going to, we're going to bring all these people in. Who in their right mind stares down the barrel of a cannon and goes, it'll be okay? No, he knows what they're going to do. You know what they're going to do. How do you fix it? You don't fix it. You tear it down before they tear it down. You go back to the beginning. You take the Constitution back to its roots. You stop all this insanity, whether by military. I think that's the only way to do it. But yeah, are people going to be pissed? Yep. Are people going to freak out and maybe fight? Yep, they're doing it already. They're going to probably burn down stuff this weekend because this kid got convicted. They always fight. They always protest. So there's nothing new in that regard. It's you who have to be as mad as they are. You need to meet your anger with their anger. And that's where I think we're having a problem, is people are pissed off and they get pissed at me and they get pissed at this person. You're directing your negative energy to the wrong people. I welcome complete obliteration. I don't know if enough of you do. I don't know if enough of you sit back and go, yeah, tear it down. One by one, tear down every single state that's not doing things right. Just think. I could be completely wrong. I could be. But I voted for obliteration. I don't know what you voted for.